My name is David Lofts. David Lofts. And what day is it? It's Wednesday. It's the 14th of January. It's my birthday. Who knew? Only me. So, first of all, I think I have to extend a huge thank you to Mr. George Galloway, who I contacted not that long ago, a few months ago, 3 months ago or something, to say, look, I have really had enough of the way that this country is being run, and I have had enough of the exploitation of large business. And I would like Mr. Galloway to work for you. And he came back and said, all right, you seem to have what it takes. Give it a go. And so here we are. Now, getting into politics in the first place, I have a background in business, particularly advertising, marketing, more recently in the healthcare industry. But I'm also a musician, hence this bit of wood and strings. And being a musician brings with it a number of challenges. One of which is that musicians, artists and creative people generally, and I know Hastings is rich with all of these, have one way or another a propensity for mental health issues. I myself, although I'm much better now, thank you, have had similar issues, and thankfully my wife is a therapist, so I get therapy every day. And having a therapist is something that I can heartily recommend. Everybody should have one. Unfortunately, access to mental health support, to treatment, and to the help that people sometimes need to get over what is very often a bump, is simply not there. And I had my personal experience was very much, I had a bad year, well, a couple of bad years, and came through the end of my 2 bad years, my annus horribili, feeling kind of flat and empty and, with really no impetus. And I seemed to be spending far more time ranting about things on Facebook and Twitter, and doing nothing about it. And I'm sure we all know that feeling. The frustration you feel when you read something or see something, and you need to get that out. And we do it now with our thumbs. We don't talk. We just rant on Facebook or Twitter. Social media, and that's what I was doing, and I was just kind of driving myself down into a deeper hole. And it was actually my GP who said to me, David, you keep telling me this, you keep telling me that you're frustrated and why don't you just do something about it instead of just talking about it? And as I go through, and I'm not going to take as long as George did, I have not quite as much to say, I think. George has many more years experience at this than I do. But I was waiting for somebody else to do it. And we can't do that. If we want things to change, the only people who are going to do that for us is us. No government. No politician, or very few politicians, George is an exception, will do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves. And this is why I am standing here tonight. I never thought I would be. I will probably now alienate everybody in the room by saying that in 1979 I was living in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, and by proxy I voted for Margaret Thatcher.
You never told me that, by the way.
So you can blame me. However, having learned the error of my ways, that's noisy. Having learned the error of my ways, I would now like to sing you a little song about that very subject. Not one that I've written, but one that I wish I had. Maggie may not, certainly not in this bar. No, this is a John Mayer song, and it kind of encapsulates why I'm here, and hopefully will allow me to communicate to you why we collectively need to do something to change things. And change is inevitable, but progress is optional. Me and all of my friends were all misunderstood. They said we'd stand for nothing, there's no way we ever could. But we see everything that's going wrong with the world and those who lead it. We don't believe we have the means to rise above and beat it. So while we're waiting, waiting on the world to change, we keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. It's hard to beat the system, standing at a distance, waiting, waiting on the world to change. Now if we had the power to bring our neighbors home from war, they'd never miss a Christmas, no more ribbons on their door. When you trust your television, what you get is what you got. When they own the information, oh, they can bend it all they want. While we're waiting, waiting on the world to change, we keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. It's not that we don't care, but we know that the plot ain't fair. Waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. 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 Thank you so much. One that I wish I had written. I'd like to see Norman Baker do that one. So, politics and Hastings and Rye. I, in my business background, before I became a hippie, I know I don't have hair, but you know what I mean. I studied and I read a lot of books, and actually I made a lot of money for a lot of other people working in marketing, advertising, and part of this, shut up, part of this learning process gave me the opportunity to read quite a lot of stuff that I wouldn't otherwise probably have read. Among the, Sun Tzu and the Art of War, and the 80s was a big thing where, everybody went into the Oriental way of doing business, and there was a Japanese book called by Miyamoto Musashi called The Book of Five Rings, Gorin no Sho, which was all about combat and all about how a business could take the principles of the martial arts, effectively, and turn them into a way of doing business. And one of the most important things I learned from this was that the way to defeat your enemy is to use the same tools as your enemy, but to use them better. There is a Japanese phrase which encapsulates this, I can't remember it, but this, taking the tools of your enemy or of your competitor, if you like, and in terms of enemy, I mean the Tories and possibly the Labour Party, but certainly Mr. Farage. Taking the tools of big business, the way that big business works, and turning them against big business. And I'm talking about something called non-profit. Imagine, if you would, the idea of Facebook, or JP Morgan, the bank, or Google operating as a non-profit. Now, Mark Zuckerberg personally took $8 billion personally out of Facebook last year. And he's not alone. There are many people who take this kind of money out of businesses, but they also leave an awful lot of money in businesses. Facebook, I think, made $34 billion altogether. Imagine that $34 billion being used not to pay for Learjets and apartments and whatever, but to pay for people, to bring them up to a level where they have a sustainable, enjoyable life. Not slaves, which we currently are, not downtrodden workers, but people who can have self-respect, people who can enjoy their daily life without worrying about a knock on the door from a bailiff or from a policeman for not paying your TV license. And I know George's is a protest. George's is a protest, but there are people who can't bloody afford a TV license. And when they get the knock on the door, the 178 quid or whatever it is that the television license costs suddenly becomes £1,000. And then they have a bailiff coming to get the £1,000 and it becomes £6,000. And they're on benefits. This is wrong. And there is enough business in this country to sustain a large number of non-profit organisations. And this is what I plan to do here in this town, in this region, in Hastings and Rye. I have so far secured investment for the first of these, or the first two of these operations, because they're quite closely linked. Once these are running smoothly, they will be businesses which employ local people doing local jobs, producing goods, services. Those people will be paid not the minimum wage and not the living wage, because the business model allows for everybody in that organisation to earn the living wage plus 10%. So £10.20 an hour. This is perfectly achievable in absolutely every business in this country. And it's achievable by reducing the level of profits that get taken out of business. If you have a number, imagine JP Morgan as a non-profit. No, just really imagine. Imagine JP Morgan, the investment bank, as a non-profit organisation. What could you do with $46 billion? You could change the world. According to Oxfam, it will take 29.1 billion to bring every person in the world out of poverty. That's an annual figure. Now, if you imagine somebody who lives in, rural Lahore, they live on $1 a day. $1 a day. And that is the minimum wage for that area. Here we have, whatever it is, £6.20 or something. That is our subsistence level minimum wage, introduced, strangely enough, by Tony Blair, the man who merged capitalism with socialism to produce more rich left-wing champagne socialists. The only socialist thing that he did was to introduce a minimum wage, but he made it so low that it's untenable for anybody to live on. What I want to do here is to build a series of non-profit organisations covering services which people can use locally, providing jobs for people locally with sustainable incomes, no zero-hour contracts, because they suck. A zero-hour contract is worth nothing, not even worth the paper it's not written on. The whole purpose of what I'm trying to do is to take the principles of capitalism, if you like, and turn them back on capitalism to say, okay, we may never have a competitor for Google in Hastings because they are a monstrous worldwide global conglomerate and now they own pretty much everything. But what we can have here is smaller, sustainable organisations which provide jobs, which provide incomes, which allow people to have the self-respect from going to work. You apparently get self-respect from going to work and earning £5 an hour. I'm not sure how that's possible. Where is the self-respect in being paid £5 an hour? You don't want to go to work. You don't want to get up in the morning, let alone go to work. Everybody needs an opportunity to be able to lift themselves out of the situation that they are in and to improve things. And as I said, change is inevitable. But if you look for that change within the Tory party, the Labour Party, or any major party, you won't get it because they want business as usual. That's all they want. They want business as usual. A return to traditional values. Yeah, so let's open some bloody workhouses and go back to Victorian times because that's where we're going. And if we, as a group of people, do not stand up and say, okay, we're not having this. You might do it in Westminster, but you're not doing it in my bloody town. Keep it in Westminster. Go and argue about who's got the biggest nose, or whose tie is the nicest, or who messed up the National Health Service. They spend so much time talking about who messed up the National Health Service, they don't have any time left to do anything about sorting out the National Health Service. All they're doing is pointing fingers and blaming each other. So, I want to take a capitalist approach, making money. Yeah, nothing wrong with making money. But making money not to go in my pocket and not to go in shareholders' pockets, because the shareholders of the non-profit are the people who work for the non-profit. And my intention, certainly with the first organisation that I will be launching, and it's a music-related organisation, my intention is that no employee, whether director or otherwise, will earn more than the national average wage, which is currently £26,500. And everybody, even the cleaner, will earn £10.20 an hour. This is my vision, not just for one organisation, but for many organisations.
Wow, very good.
And you are the people that can help to make this happen. You really, really are. I am amazed. 3 months ago, there was one of me. Or actually, no, there were two of me, because Andy Ives was already a Respect member, I think. So 3 months ago, there were two of us. Look where we've come. In 3 months, there must be 100 people here. And you've come to listen, and you've come maybe to learn, to contribute, because ideas, Hastings is certainly, maybe beside Brighton, the most creative place I have ever been. Just as a single entity in its own right, the creativity here is amazing. Art, music, sculpture, everything is here. These people who produce this stuff also generate ideas. And what I'm saying to you is, bring me the ideas and I will find you the money. This, I can't promise I will find you the money, but I will work my bloody nuts off to find you the money for your idea. And I know quite a few rich people, but not Nigel Farage.
Bravo.
So for my next song, we have recorded this, and you can download a version of it, strangely enough, but we will be re-recording this shortly with a cast of thousands, and actually I must speak to you about this, because one of the things I want to do with this song, it has a nice chorus, and you might want to sing along. I wrote this on the way to a session, a recording session. I had the lyrics for the song, and I walked past a complete arsehole, both cheeks of the arsehole, at Liverpool Street Station, having his shoes cleaned. And he just kind of got up from the chair and just threw the money. Really, he just threw the money at the guy who just cleaned his shoes. So I wished him a good day. I basically said, have a good day, mate. And by the time I got to the studio, I'd rewritten the lyrics. And here they are. And if you feel like singing along, the chorus is, have a good day. Look out of your window, I want to show you something. There's a revolution going down on the street. The morning is breaking and the city is jumping. Laid out like a wonderland right there at your feet. And you can trip down the stairs to the pavement, pass an old man on the way. Will you stop and smile and say, I really hope you have a good day. Have a good day. Fire up your engine, turn on your radio. There's an old band playing for dead in Ohio. They're repeating history in a different location, yeah, but that's just geography. It's the same situation. You can shine up your shoes, put your hand in your pocket, throw change, and walk away, yeah. Sit down, snap your fingers at a waitress, caviar on your canapé. Well, here's a tip, you could smile and say, I really hope you have a good day. Have a good day. Have a good day. hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good day. All right now. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good day. All right. Come up on the roof, I want to show you something. It's nearly 30 stories down to the street. And the people are dancing, 'cause the bankers are jumping. Go on down and join them, you never know who you'll meet. And so you leave your keys on the kitchen table. Does it have to end this way? Step off the ledge, you feel the wind blow past your neighbors on the way. You could smile and wave and say, I really hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good day. Have a good day. I hope you have a good day. Have a good day. I hope you have a good day. Yeah. Thank you. So, does anybody have the time? It's 20 past 9, so we've got 10 minutes. We've got 10 minutes before the band come on, and they are really good and they're worth sticking around for, so please do. George and I will also be around, I think, I'm right in saying?
You'll be around.
I'll be around. George has to drive to Bradford or somewhere. London, maybe. But I will be here to talk and to answer any questions that you might have. I'm very, very, very pleased to have made the acquaintance of all of you, either via Facebook or in person, and I'm sure I'll have the chance to chat to people later. And I think, in a change to my original plan, where I throw a curved ball at the bass player, because we're going to sing a song that he doesn't know.
Oh, wonderful.
Is that you? D, C, and G. So I will leave you. I'm not going to stand here and pontificate. I'm about action. I talk. I like to talk, but I'm far, far, far more interested in action and doing things and getting stuff done. You can have a look and read, if you haven't already, at my website, which is davidlofts.org. There is more stuff coming up there every day. You can register there your interest if you'd like to come and help with any of the campaign activity that we're doing. You can also even buy some songs, I think, there if you if you'd like to make a small contribution to the campaign fund. But this is the socialist way, you see. You see, I had a personal email from Mark Reckless asking me for money. Asking me for money to pay for the £3,000 worth of Tory leaflets that he'd had printed that he then didn't need when he defected to UKIP. And he sent me an email asking for bloody money. Okay, if you want to give me some money, please feel free to give me some money. The campaign and the Respect Party need your help. But you'll get something for it. We're not asking you to do anything for nothing. So there will be some music for you if you'd like to download. You can buy it, you can donate. Or just pay 99p for the track as you would on iTunes, or you can add to that if you would like. So, finally, another protest song. Would there be anything else? I am a backseat driver from America. I'm not run on false roads, and the man at the wheel's name is Ahmed, and there's a child on the corner he knows. Ahmed says, what chance has that kid got? And I say from the back, I don't know. He says there's barbed wire at all of these exits, and there ain't no place in Gaza for that kid to go. And it's a hard life, it's a hard life, it's a very hard life, a hard life wherever you go. But if we poison our children with hatred, then the hard life is all that they'll know. Cafeteria line in Chicago, a fat man in front of me. He's calling black people trash to his children, but he's the only trash here I see. And I'm thinking this man wears a white hood in the night when his children should sleep. And they'll slip through their windows and they'll see him. They'll think that white hood's all they need. And it's a hard life, it's a hard life, it's a very hard life, a hard life wherever you go. And if we poison our children with hatred, then the hard life is all that they'll know. I was a child in the 60s, when dreams could be held through TV, with Disney and Cronkite and Martin Luther. And I believed, oh Lord, I believed. Now I'm a backseat driver from America. I'm not at the wheel of control. I am guilty, I am torn, I'm the root of all evil, and I can drive on the left side of the road. And it's a hard life, it's a hard life, it's a very hard life, a hard life wherever you go. And if we poison our children with hatred, then the hard life is all that they'll know. And it's a hard life wherever you go. Thank you very much. Remember the name, David Lofts. Lofts equals respect. Mr. George Galloway, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. George Galloway, thank you for coming all the way here, man. Thank you.